All right, I'll call this meeting to order. Better late than never. We're going to add to the agenda, we have to designate someone to okay the warrants next week. So people can be paid. And we're going to add warrant from the reappraisal fund, RF number 3. So with
those
that,
are both on the Zeke. Those are both already on the agenda.
Oh, okay.
I think we just got to revise 13P.
Okay.
Or just 13.
Or just 13.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, let's back up and we'll start all over again, and we'll just go into the minutes of the previous meetings. December 2nd.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for December 2nd.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Then we have the minutes of December 4th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of December 4th.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. We have warrants 13, 13P, and the reappraisal fund number 3. What would you like to do?
I'll make a motion to approve bills for payment, warrants 13, 13P, and reappraisal 3.
Second that.
Okay, any discussion? Warrant 13 is for a total of $26,115.75. Of that, a good chunk of that is going to pay the county tax portion of that, rescue and sheriff's monthly bills, health insurance, and fuel and sundry other items for the highway department. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Well, recognition of visitors and public comments. We have more visitors than usual. We were going to invite Charlotte and Ruth Hoffman, one of our auditors. We have an issue with understanding the budget, and Charlotte's been trying to explain it to us. We still have some questions, so let's see. And so, and this is concerning 14,000. What's the exact amount? 14,000. Money that we were asked to put under the highway expenses in the budget. We just didn't understand. So Charlotte's been trying to explain to us. Do you want to go through it, Charlotte?
Well, if you read my email from yesterday morning or yesterday afternoon, you would see that Maria noticed and told me that that had been paid for in the regular budget in 2017. So we do not need to transfer that back. We will be transferring in 2,000, I think it's $92 to finish cleaning up the Wickeby Hill grant, the grant and aid, the erosion inventory, and the Better Back Roads grant.
Okay.
So the highway fund is going to add 2,000 and some odd dollars.
$2,005.
I don't. 2,000.
I have the, Charlotte, the number you
Thank you.
sent me was $2,049.33.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, that's what we got on our sheet.
Okay, so that's the number we are now talking about instead of 14,000. It's 2,000 because Maria said that we needed to look back before my time to town report 2017, 2018, where these corrections that we thought had not been done had been done earlier. And so they've already been taken into account in the highway fund in earlier years. Charlotte and I thought they hadn't been taken into account then, and that's what we were doing. Turns out, unknown to us, it was done in a year before I was auditor and before Charlotte had looked at it in this way. So if you need any explanation, it's only about why do we have to do the 2,000 some odd, which is to balance out from the grants fund to the expenditures and revenue highway fund, because at the end of the day, it's all highway money.
Right.
If I said that right, Charlotte.
No, it was very nicely done.
So questions now?
So this is left from a grant for Wickapee Hill. Is that right?
It's a combination of the four grants that was in the spreadsheet that I sent you.
Okay. All right.
But Maria, you had looked at this pretty carefully over the last 2 weeks, quite thoroughly. How do you feel about the this explanation? Does it make sense to you?
It does. I actually agree with the number of 2,049.33.
Great.
Okay, and so that will go in as an expense in our highway budget. No,
It's a revenue in the
Revenue.
revenue. Well, that's
revenue.
So you like that better? See?
I like that a lot better. Right. Great. Great. So we went from 14,000 in the hole to 2,000 plus head of the game. That's great.
16,000.
Good. Oh, well, good. I would like to thank Charlotte, Ruth, and especially
Maria
for doing,
And Maria.
yeah, Maria, especially for
Yeah.
digging through the archives. I know.
Yeah.
That was a lot of work. Thank you, Maria.
Very nice job.
Yeah. Great. Any other questions for Charlotte or Ruth? Okay.
I just got one quick question if we're off this. Just for the capital plan, Charlotte, have you heard back from the IT guy on the computers?
The computers aren't the problem. It's getting a new server, which we need to do within the next year or two. Our IT guy seems to think that we're going to be forced to go on the cloud in Nemrick, which is an additional monthly fee. And we are now, Xfinity is giving us free Wi-Fi. Each town is allowed one free Wi-Fi. But it's only 30 megabytes per second. I don't think that's going to handle the cloud. So we would have to up. And they wanted $89 a month for that because we got a bill by mistake to begin with. So the server, to replace the server is $17,000. Which I just about fell out of my chair.
Yeah.
I mean, we originally paid probably $3,000 or $4,000 for a server through Nemrick, but they're not doing IT anymore. And we certainly can't afford the other IT place. And so Bill Vermouth is our option. He's really good, but he has very specific ideas about what is required to be, and I'm not arguing that they're wrong. I think he's right. We have a lot of personal information in our files and we need to be very careful that that doesn't get out anywhere. And he feels that you would need to pay $17,000 to get a server that could be made secure enough to be in a town office like ours.
What are other
Yep.
towns? What's Putney, or what are some of the towns around us doing?
I don't know what Penny's doing. I can call around easily enough and find out. I think a lot of people have gone to the cloud, to the Nemrick cloud. I think it's $5 or $10 a month per computer in your office for the cloud storage. Plus whatever we'd have to pay a month for updated Wi-Fi, which would probably be $120 to $150. So that's a lot of money. We've got seven computers in the office. So it's a chunk of change.
And in that case, if you did that, you wouldn't need the new server, or what? What's the relationship between that and the new server?
I think we would need a new server, but we wouldn't need anything with very many bells and whistles, because the server stores files that we all have access to. Like if we scan something on our printer, it goes into the server so that anybody can access it. It stores the plat maps and things like that. But if we went to the cloud, all the sensitive information would be going up to the cloud, like people's bank account numbers and things like that.
But that's still secure, isn't it?
The cloud?
Yeah.
I would hope so. They say it is.
Yeah, it's of course.
I don't know, the government was just hacked, so.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
But I mean, to replace two computers, which is basically we have two computers that are the oldest, and everybody else has a year or 2-year-old computer. They run about $1,500 a piece. So that would be $3,000 to replace the two computers. But I'm personally more worried about the server. So that was put in 2017. So.
Okay.
And that's the root. I mean, that's the hub of our office. We can't do anything without the server. We have no access to Nemrick, which is all our programs. So if that were to crash.
Yep.
So I guess, and maybe I missed something, but seems like there's two questions. One about the timing of a decision that needs to be made, and the other is what's the decision. And so with the second question, in addition to calling around Charlotte, I know that Lori has often mentioned her listserv for other town clerks. And
Right,
so
I'm on that too.
That would be a good place to get some information. So so it'd be great to, hear the results of that research. And then what's the timing? What's the immediacy, or where does this fit in terms of us being responsible for budgeting?
Well, I think the server we should be looking at, the server or the cloud we should be looking at in the next year. So probably this 2022 budget. We could probably, knock on wood, stretch it out another year.
Well, it'd be great if we had some good information.
Yeah,
We're kind of coming down to the wire here.
right.
So let's see what, and this coming week isn't the best week usually to get feedback and information from other people, but
Well, I can post to the listserv tomorrow.
Great. Okay, that's a
From
good
home,
start.
I don't have to be in the office to do that.
Okay, great.
Let's
I'll do
start.
that.
The name escapes me for a moment, but the gentleman that helps us, has helped us with IT, sort of a friend of the court. He set it up all the email accounts. Is he somebody that?
Kevin Ryan.
Kevin Ryan.
Kevin,
Yeah. Kevin, is he somebody that would be helpful does he have a pretty broad view, knowledge of these areas?
Yeah, I can ask Kevin. Kevin was originally our IT person and set up the whole system to begin with. But then it just kind of got to be, he was doing it for free and he wasn't always here, and we'd have emergencies and,
It might be helpful to have.
but I'll
Kevin
email
come-
him.
Yeah, and it might be helpful to have Kevin come to a meeting where we're considering the research that Charlotte brings. He will
Yeah.
be able to interpret it for us in ways that we might not be able to.
Exactly.
Sure, great. Okay, sounds like a good plan so far.
Okay.
Great,
Can I add one more budget item?
sure.
We have in the budget for the Act 64, 1,350 for 2022. And we will be having an additional $240 administrative processing fee, which is what I had to add at the last minute to the agenda. I think it was probably paid last year by Wyndham Regional when they submitted all the information. And we probably paid them back. And when we paid them for the erosion inventory. And so.
Wait, do we probably pay them back or did we pay them back?
I don't know. We just got a bill from them. But we didn't pay this $240. It's a yearly report that we have to do in December. And to update our erosion inventory. And so it'll be a $240 processing fee every year. I think it was sort of subsumed in,
Okay.
we just submitted our entire inventory last year, and Wyndham Regional did it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, so we've got that done. That will add. Anything else? Any other questions for Charlotte? Okay. Ready to move on?
Yep.
Thanks, Charlotte. Thanks.
Thank
Ruth,
you.
for helping.
Thanks, Ruth.
You're welcome.
Let's see. If the public will bear with us, we're just going to go through the road foreman's report and a few other items before we get down to the new business. So, any updates on the covered bridge repair?
When I talked to Lee on Monday, they hadn't set a time yet for repair. There hasn't been, so there's no updates.
Okay, other than the adjuster gave us the go ahead to have the repairs made.
Right, right.
We
Lee
got,
hasn't made the connection yet.
yeah, some information about, possibly the cost of setting up a camera from one company.
All he had at that point was the same number as he had before, which was
Yeah.
about $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Any thoughts, any discussion about the covered bridge? Okay. Anything else? Lee sent us his list of things that they had been doing.
Mhm.
Keep
Right.
them
Got it.
busy.
Yep.
I suspect they'll be busy tomorrow.
That's what it is. Yeah, they've been mostly working on grading leaves, the green hoe project, trees, and storm washout there.
What's the estimate for tomorrow? What are people guessing?
10 to 12, 10 to 15, 10 to 18.
Get out the toboggan.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Any other things on the road foreman's report? Okay.
No.
Under correspondence for information, is there anything there you'd like to discuss?
Only that is anybody interested in that VLCT Municipal Assistant Training, the Australian vote by Australian ballot.
Somebody should attend that.
Yeah,
I can do that.
you can. Oh,
Yeah,
great.
Okay, great.
That would
Some-
be awesome.
Because that's my 2 o'clock time, so,
two
Okay.
to 3:30. And
yep.
I can register online. And there's a fee associated with that, right? Do they?
They'll automatically build the town office.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, I'll do that.
Okay. All right, great. Thanks, David.
Yeah.
I expect to still be shoveling by then. Let's see. Then under new business.
Zeke?
Oh, wait, we've got some
Paul?
hands raised.
Just one question, Zeke, on correspondence for information.
Yeah.
Could you just let us know what the Act 250 notice of application, where is that for?
Let's see. I read that and wasn't too, didn't stand out because I've already forgotten it.
Wait a minute, let me see if I can grab it. I can't recall it either.
Yeah.
It's just a, from National Resources Board, you had a notice of application. I was just curious where it was.
It was for
Oh.
a subdivision in Brookline, Newfane that
Oh,
budded
Oh, okay,
property in Dummerston.
okay,
yes.
okay,
So that's what it was. It's all coming back.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So
Yep.
Zeke, before you move on to correspondence for discussion, I'd like to say something about the appraisal.
Sure.
Is it now a good time?
As good a time as any.
Okay, so I just wanted to let folks know that a couple people did call the select board, call select board members about someone walking around their house that they happened to see because they have cameras set up. And indeed, it was the appraiser, walking around taking measurements, as is happening in our town right now. And we did alert NEMREC and the people who are doing the appraisals of this concern. And so they have responded, and Lori put a message in an email that went out to town today, but I'd just like to read it so it's also on this recording for anyone who doesn't get those emails but does watch this. So as was stated in an email to town residents today, the townwide reappraisal is still going on. We're getting close to the end of the initial inspections. This is to remind people that you may see someone approach your house. The inspectors will knock first to see if anyone is home. If you are, they will let you know who they are, why they are there, and may ask questions about your house. They will not come into your house. If no one is home, they will do an exterior inspection, measuring the house and taking photographs. Their cars have a sign on them identifying them as appraisers, and the inspectors have a name badge. These may not be easily readable from a distance or from a game camera. We have placed signs in various areas as the inspectors get there, but there has been no easy way to say exactly when they will be at any particular location. Most of the east side of town at this point is complete, and a portion of the west side as well. There are still areas, however, to complete, especially around Sunset Lake Road and the area around Carpenter Road. We thank you for your patience and understanding. This has been a particularly challenging process due to COVID. So I just wanted to get that word out as broadly as possible. And I am appreciative of the appraisers' responsiveness all along, so.
Okay, great. Paul Normando, I see your hand raised again.
Sorry about that. In conjunction with, it's the letter I sent you or about my concern about the next item on the agenda, which you're going to be talking about. I also indicated that I didn't understand why the appraisers could not make a phone call and alert people that they're going to be there. You know, when the listers did it the last time, they made appointments with everybody. And almost everybody's home. So I just don't see, I think it would be good PR on the part of the appraisers, and I think it would save a whole lot of heartache for people who may not recognize who's out there, even given the information that you've just put out, Carolyn, and that Lori has sent out. So,
Well, I think that, this is really under the auspices of the listers. So I feel like that comment first needs to go to the listers. And if you don't get a reasonable and acceptable answer from them, then you can come to us as the select board. I mean, obviously, we're ultimately responsible, but really it's the listers that are orchestrating the logistics of this appraisal.
okay, you didn't by chance forward my letter to them, did you?
I did
Because
not.
I had sent it to all of you. That would have been, it went to the town office, obviously, because Lori had it, had it available. But I didn't know whether, if you want me, I'd be glad to send it formally to them. But it was just, I incorporated it as in my other letter.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. Under new business, let's table the grand juror for just a few moments and discuss posting the proposed fiscal year 2022 budget on the website. What would you like to do?
Are you looking for a motion?
Sure, yes, and then we can discuss.
I'd like to move that the select board asks for the 2022 draft budget to be posted on the Dummerston.org website.
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion. So this, where we're moving to an Australian ballot for this town meeting, by the time we get to our informational meeting, which will take place not more than 10 days before town meeting, the deadline, the budget would already be finalized. And so we've been trying to get the word out that now through third week of January is the time to get in touch with us and let us know whether you have items that you'd like included or revised, or what your thoughts are on budget items and articles. So, because now we can make changes, and we, as I said, won't finalize the budget till about the end of the third week of January. So as a way of letting people know where we are in our budget workings, it's been suggested by several people that we post a working draft on the website. So I think that's a good summary.
I think since we're so close to having another budget meeting, if we do that, I think it would be after Friday, because we'll be working the numbers again. And then we could post it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Maria, what do you think?
No, I agree. I think it's a good idea. I'm assuming that we probably aren't going to do every single financial report that we put into the town report. Are we looking at posting the highway budget and the general fund budget and possibly the capital plan? Would it be?
Yeah,
we're not going to try to do all the revenue reports and the grant reports and all the basically all the financials.
right. I think people.
I think people are, yeah.
Yeah, people aren't going to be able to change the revenue that the town
Right.
is, but what they can, yeah, just like a town meeting, they'd be commenting and amending,
Okay.
those budgets. So
Okay.
that's what we'd like them to be able to see.
So those three, the highway, the general, and the capital plan.
Yep, I completely agree. Yep.
Great.
And I agree. I think we should wait. I mean, we're only 2 days away from
Right,
the next budget meeting. And by then we should have, we could even estimate some numbers that we would normally not get to give people a clearer picture if we wanted to.
Right. Right. Okay. So
And then,
any other discussion?
yeah.
Now,
Gail?
how soon after your meeting is it reasonable for that to be posted? I mean,
Oh, if we have our meeting on Friday night
right,
and I can get the worksheets updated, say Saturday, I can send it to Lori. It depends on when Lori can post it. I don't do any posting to the website. Lori does it all.
oh, okay.
So it would be posted the week of the 21st.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
so she would probably do it, well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because she'll
Yeah.
be closed Thursday and Friday next week.
Right, so that
Okay.
would be the goal. So,
Okay.
so then my question leads from that, Gail, thank you, is what's the best way we're gonna tell residents to offer their feedback or be part of a budget discussion? Our next select board meeting will be December 30th. So would we have on our agenda budget discussion on the 30th for any, or would it just be part of recognition of visitors and public comment?
Yeah, I think we could do that. Yeah,
Put it on the agenda as a specific item.
yeah. let's
And
do
then
that.
I think also that if there's any comments for anybody that, or has any questions about this budget that's not gonna make it to that meeting, I think it should be clear that they should direct it to the selectboard@dummerston.org for
Yeah, so
us
we need
directly, since this is our budget, to answer any questions.
Right, yeah. Lori's busy enough.
Right, we don't need to bother the town office with this, we really, and it is our responsibility.
So,
Well, even emails to you ahead of time, if there are comments, it would give you a head start on what somebody else is thinking or
Sure.
what might be a potential problem area.
right,
Exactly.
Yep.
Yes, so of course, you don't have to limit it to problems. You can let us know what a good job we're doing, you know?
Right, give us some
To-
I
praise.
hear you.
Yeah,
and so when that budget gets posted, Zeke, is it possible to have a little introduction? You have made some pretty clear statements about the select board's approach to this budget.
I guess we could ask Lori to add that.
I think that would be helpful
Sure.
for people to know that we're basically level funding. If they were comfortable with last year's budget, they should be comfortable with this year's budget. We encourage people to look through it, but you know, maybe at the December 30th meeting, we want to be prepared to identify anything that is you know, really different from last year's budget. I don't know.
Mhm. Sure.
And then moving forward on the timeline, so we have a select board meeting on December 30th. Then the Friday after that is January 1st. So we won't have our normal budget meeting on the 1st of January, I wouldn't think, being a holiday and all.
Right, right.
I'm not busy.
I don't think it's how I want to start my year.
you want to start the new year on here? Oh, come on. Do we want to move it to the 7th or the 8th for the next Friday? Do we need,
Yeah, I think we should not. Gee, I was thinking the first would be great, but
actually, I'm with Zeke, I could easily meet on the 1st, but that's okay, I realize it.
what David and Maria, what are your thoughts?
I could do it on the 1st or the 8th. It's either one. It
Well,
doesn't-
if you guys want to, if, you know, there's a desire to do it on the 1st, I
Maria?
was just, I made an assumption.
I'm fine with either day. The 1st is fine with, or the 8th, either one.
You can see what kind of a group we are, Gail, with no Friday night plans and no plans for the holiday.
Oh, I think you're in good company.
Okay, how about we
Down.
think it over,
Yep.
check our calendars and decide, Friday when we get together again.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds good. So I'm going to continue though, Zeke, even though you might be a little frustrated with me. So then we have another select board meeting on the 13th of January. Is that still time for people to come to a
Yes,
meeting
yes.
and give us feedback?
We wouldn't finalize the budget. It has to be finalized. I'm not sure what the date is, but it's usually towards the end of January.
Okay.
Historically, anywhere from the 25th to the 27th is what I recall.
Okay, so then our next meeting is on the 27th. So really the two meetings that people have to come to us and have a in-person, quote, in-person Zoom conversation with us are December 30th and January 13th. So people should mark
Oh.
their calendars for those two dates.
Yes, and they can get in touch with us
Yeah.
at the website or call us or however they'd like to get.
I'm
in
not sure I
touch.
want calls, but I'd be happy for an email.
All right, great. So any
Comment?
other, Paul Normando?
I thought Lori made a wonderful suggestion in her comment to the board about highlighting any differences or any changes in the budget. And given that you are level funding, perhaps it would be good to highlight the changes from last year when it's posted on the website. And that way people wouldn't have to necessarily go over the whole budget. They could just look at the highlighted items.
Okay.
Okay. That
And
would
maybe
be-
that's, you
if-
know, changes or differences over a certain amount of money. I mean, you know,
Well, I'm not talking about $10 or anything like that.
Yeah.
But if it's over $1,000, maybe.
yeah, that sounds
Mhm.
good, Paul.
Okay. All right. You good with that, Maria?
Yes, I am. Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, ready to move on.
Do we
Then,
want to vote on that or?
oh, yes, we have a motion and a second. Now we've had a discussion. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Geraldine, were you trying to vote twice on this?
No, I,
I saw two hands, and I don't want
it was just
No.
enthusiasm.
to litigate this in court, for. All right, so there were 5 select board members that voted in the affirmative.
Okay.
Great. Let's see, we have the option of changing the position of grand juror from elected to appointed. And I guess we can even put this one, I guess we can eliminate it also. But maybe not. Maybe we can just change it to an appointed position. What do you think of that? Any thoughts?
I thought Maria was gonna say something.
No.
Your little light went on, that's why.
Oh, no.
No. Yeah.
I think either way,
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with it.
It's a heavy responsibility to place on the shoulders
Yes.
of the select board, but I think they, could handle it
Yeah,
in the future.
Mhm.
So
put it on our
You
list
wanna
to
make a
find
motion?
appointments.
I thought we'd have some former grand jurors, chiming in and giving their 2 cents, but I guess not.
Do we need a
Uh,
motion?
Yes, yes.
Is there any formal process you have to go through to do this, or is just, you just make a decision to do it?
Yeah, yeah,
it's-
the legislature gave us the authority to change this from an elected position.
I'll make a motion to change the position of grand jury from elected to appointed.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right.
Zeke, can I ask a question? When will that take place then? And is there somebody now who's a grand juror? And is there a definite term for that person?
I don't know if anyone ran last year. The last grand juror and town agents that I can recall was Ruth Barton.
Ah, okay.
And I think it's only it's a 1-year position.
1 year.
Right.
So at the most, if I think Ruth is still in there,
She's
so her
listed
term
in the
would end
book.
in March anyway.
Yeah.
And that was normally after town meeting is when appointments are made.
Right.
Okay.
Can combine it with the weigher of coal.
Yes.
Right.
And the fence viewer.
Yeah, right.
Right. Let's see. We have another deadline for the winter views due the 7th of January. Who'd like to take this on this time?
Actually, they sent out a revised due date. It
Yep.
should be the 5th, not the 7th.
The 5th.
Right.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
going to volunteer if it was the 7th, but the 5th, I just can't do that. Let's see. Who has, we could farm this out. Paul, would you like to maybe write the views,
Go ahead.
Well, thank you.
delegate it? Okay. How about we do, I'm thinking of a number, and if anyone,
What are we thinking that the content should be?
I'm thinking that this is coming out just before
Mhm.
town meeting.
In years past, you've done the same.
You and I could write we could do
Our
a
swan
duet
song? Yes,
of a swan song.
yeah,
Would you like to do that?
sure,
A little duet.
sure.
What key would you like to do it in?
When the cameras are not rolling, maybe we could work on that.
Okay, so you and I'll coordinate.
Collaborate.
We'll
Okay.
collaborate.
We'll
Okay.
have our share the byline.
Good.
Okay. I was hoping to get out of that, but
No,
no.
no.
At least I got out of half of it. Moving on, we have errors and omission certificate from the listers.
I'll make a motion to approve the errors and omissions from the listers.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
We have to, this is on the agenda too. I added it twice. Let's see, we have to authorize a board member to approve warrants on, let's see, that looks like 12/29, so that employees of the town can be paid. And I'd like to nominate Terry Chapman.
Sure.
if He's willing.
I'll do it.
I'd
Yeah.
like to move to authorize Terry Chapman to approve the warrants on December 29th.
I'll second that.
Great. Any discussion? All right. That's great. Thank you,
All
Terry.
those in favor?
Yeah, vote in favor. Vote.
Aye.
Sure.
Yep. All right, aye.
I thought you were moving on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. I know you're anxious to get to the adjournment here, but so just for the record, we voted in favor of authorizing Terry to. approve
Sure.
the warrants. All right, great. Is there any other new business you'd like to tackle? I see Paul raising his hand, and I kind of can't ignore him, I guess. So Paul, what would you like to?
Just another question. Are all the members of are the members whose terms are up, are they running for reelection?
No, if you've had your ear to the ground, you would know that Geraldine Wilson and myself are not running.
Oh, no, I haven't had my ear to the ground. And I'm wondering how many people in town don't know, and wondering if the word should get out so that anybody who might be
I
interested.
believe we've made our intentions known to Lori, who had was going to publicize it.
So we also, Paul, we made our intentions known at last year's town meeting. And I've mentioned it in every views article that I've written. So, you know, and I've mentioned it to people that I run into, you know, town residents. But if there are other ways we can do that, that you think would be important.
Well, I think that
Yeah.
Lori's email list is a good one, I think, to do that with.
And I think this year people don't need to fill out a petition. They just need to, so maybe with that instruction, it can be mentioned in a town-wide email.
Sure. No, I think it's good that, because sometimes people say, oh, gee, I wish I'd have known there was a vacancy there. I might have run or whatever.
Good.
Okay.
All right.
So
So
thank
Zeke,
you
should
for doing that.
Yeah, should I mention it to Lori, Zeke?
Sure. Yeah, I think she's got it. I thought maybe she had already sent something
I
out.
think she has, but
I haven't,
no,
I haven't
no,
seen anything.
no.
okay.
I think Paul and I are fairly alert of what's going on around town, and I had no idea either. So I don't know if I missed it in your column, and who remembers from last town meeting. So it really needs to go out again.
Okay.
Great.
I will contact Lori.
Okie dokie. All right. Any other new business? Okay. What would you like
I'll
to
make
do?
a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Great. Good. Well, thank you very much,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.